Awesome. I hope everyone's had a good lunch and is not too sleepy. But if you are, we have two very interesting founders here who've built something interesting, taking coffee. Very excited to chat with both of you here today, and hopefully there'll be a lot of interesting conversations, learnings. But since the theme of this iMedia is an era of omnipresence, it'll be great to just set context with what is your current scale of presence in the market, online, offline. So starting with you, Bharat.
So we present available online everywhere. Obviously, direct to consumer contributes to about 20-25% of the business overall. The other comes from another 15% comes from marketplaces and hyperlocal. The additional business comes from general trade, modern trade. We're present in about 3,500 outlets right now, well activated, not just placed there, but well activated as well. So that's the current. We're also available in GCC. We're available in EU, and we're also available in North America. And in all of these countries, and even in India, we work with distributors. So the entire business is, the offline business is built with distributors. So that's the bare structure of the channel mix.
Got it. Thank you. And Tarun?
Thank you. Thank you for having us in a great summit. We were an online-only brand for probably our entire journey. Last year, we kind of forayed into offline. So typical split would be 80% online, 20% offline. In that, 35, 36% would come from our own platform, and the rest would come from the marketplaces. We are there in about 12,000 stores, which is a mix of GT plus MT. On marketplaces, we are pretty much everywhere. We're in Amazon and Nykaa are obviously the good ones. Myntra and Flipkart are the ones catching up. But we're very focused on building our own D2C channel because we believe there is an incremental leverage which we can do at scale. There would be about 5 million people visiting the store every month. My co-founder Vaishali is there, and her founder's office, Udbhav, who actually leads the entire piece, anything media or anything D2C, tells us that I think that will continue to be the focus as per the distribution is concerned. And obviously we are in GCC and parts of Europe, but that's not a major focus for us.
Awesome. Thank you. I think there's 1,000 plus D2C brands now that have been tracked. There's probably 8,000 others that are in the making. You guys have achieved some incredible scale and are very inspirational. So it's great to have you guys here. Let's go to the start. Okay. It's very interesting. Two founders who've looked at coffee and built completely different companies. You've obviously built a premium coffee brand and you've built a personal care. How did you spot this opportunity? Like, was passion for coffee ever a part of it, or was it just a good business opportunity? Like, how did you go about that?
So not a very easy question to answer, but I'll take a dag at this. So yeah, I started my first business very early on. Okay, so which was a passion project. I was 21. And that I scaled significantly, cost efficiently, and it, was a great business. Learned a lot, made a lot of mistakes, but a passion project turned into a business opportunity. I started something else in 16 after exiting that business, which was more of a market opportunity. There was very little passion in it. So when I was starting out in 2018, 17 end, the idea of direct to consumer as a mega trend, and then health and wellness. So all of these mega trends were there, and which I wanted to build something in. And I also wanted to build something which, could possibly last forever, because I was done trying to find pieces and trying to find businesses and then kind of, find opportunities, because it's extremely difficult to scale a business, scale a brand. It can take years, and if not, it can take decades, actually. So the idea was very simple. Whatever I was doing at that time, it had to be at the intersection of my passion and the market opportunity. And that is where the challenge is, right? You have to really, really understand data, secondary data, understand the customer. What is it that you are looking at, which others can't see? And we were entering into, a very competitive market, but it was also to me an opportunity which most others couldn't see. A range, the name, the entire branding piece, it was never done before. So I feel it was at that right intersection, and definitely coffee was a passion. But I did not call myself a aficionado or a connoisseur of coffee because I wanted, to make a great cup of coffee accessible, affordable, find a balance between pricing, quality, convenience, because that's where I felt the market was headed to. Upgrading an average consumer by asking them to pay $100 more and giving them a 5 to 10 times better experience was the primary goal. And we never wanted to be in the premium. We're not a premium coffee. We are a mass premium coffee. 65% of our business actually comes from smaller cities. In fact, almost 80% of our wholesale business, which is the offline business, is in the smaller cities. So we are we're taking a lot of these legacy giants head on.
Awesome. Tarun?
Hello. Yeah. So we have spent all our lives in startups. So I was working with other startup. My partners were doing something else, and we were not doing M caffeine. We were doing a different model. And at that point of time, I met with an accident. My eye got swollen up. And in India, everybody is a doctor and loves to get advices like we are giving. So my flatmate came and said, "Ki green tea bag ko garam pani mein rakh ke, just put it on your eye." Bizarre advice for a 27-year-old. I mean, आपने कुछ तो life में देख ही लिया होता है to say it's a bizarre advice. I did it anyway. And then I'm the backbencher of the class in terms of my co-founders. These guys are the toppers. I called them up. कि कुछ तो हुआ है. And what we realized is that caffeine in green tea is a diuretic. If you drink too many coffees, you'll have to go to the loo. Caffeine sucked out excess water from my membrane and eased it out. And that's where we found caffeine for skin. When we started double clicking on it, we realized caffeine is one of the oldest ingredient proposition across the globe. Allopathy se bhi pehle ek cheez hua karti thi, canon of medicine. That's where the use of caffeine for skincare and hair care was first done in literature. So we realized we're not inventing anything. In the last 30 years, there is enough and more scientific research which has happened on caffeine because of the Cokes and the Starbucks of the world. So we realized physiologically this ingredient is extremely potent. But what was interesting is that psychologically, if you see, the world runs on caffeine. Chai, coffee, chocolate. में caffeine होता है, right? So we were very sure that physiological and psychological, if gets married out in a packet, that packet becomes a very sharper brand. There are very few brands who have done that, right? So we were very excited about it, and hence we said that we will build a brand around caffeine, but for your skin and hair. And one thing led to other, and I think now we have reached a certain stage, but that was the inception of it. And over time, what we realized is that since we are building for millennials have a far better connect to their caffeine as compared to the older generation. So we said the target audience में physiology scientific तरीके से आ रही है, psychology target audience से आ रही है. I think there is a good chance to exist there, and with executional risk, obviously. But if we do the execution right, we might reach somewhere. And now probably there will be a point in time where we will be procuring more coffee than the largest cafe chain in India. So that's the macro part of it as well.
That's so cool. Awesome. Okay, let's move to the next question. Omni-channel has been a buzzword for the last few years. But when we started Bombay Shaving Company in October 2015, launched in May 2016, it was purely website karenge, subscription karenge, which failed miserably. And then, the journey was go to Amazon, then go to Flipkart, then go to all the other marketplaces, then enter offline. We not really thought about all things from an offline perspective. So a lot of our branding and all shelf throw, these things were not really figured out. It was primarily for D2C website. But now, omni-channel is the game, and, D2C brands have been around for a while, so learnings are better. Can you tell me, I think you started 2016, you started 2018. Was offline always a part of your D2C rollout plan? And at what point did you trigger the offline presence? At what scale or point in your journey did you trigger that offline presence?
Got it. I think offline was always on the cards. We, in our category or in our business, what we realized is that we'll have to go where the consumer is. And we never got too fixated on D2C. D2C, for us, D2C was data. D was not direct to consumer or distribution to consumer, एक channel है. That channel's leverage is that we can tell the story the best, and Amazon or Nykaa won't be able to do it. So hence, tell the story the best on your own platform, and the sales will happen. But on Amazon, Nykaa, the scale will happen of the sales. So we started clicking on these channels, and at about, and we were very late in offline actually. One, because of the COVID, and second, because of our preparedness. We went when we crossed an ARR of about 150 crores. So we were incredibly late, as you. But then what we realized is that because of the 150 crore ARR kind of a size, our cost of sales at some point of time was in a single digit. That means there was some level of air cover which the online brand presence has created, जहाँ पर retailer को डर नहीं लग रहा था माल रखने में, right? Correct, and that kind of it. So in hindsight, we should have gone anywhere about 6 to 7 crores a month. Anything more than 100 crores is probably a miserable mistake, and we kind of went off far.
Yeah.
So, I'll give you some data points on this that will help you understand and help everyone understand why D2C, there is a ceiling on the opportunity of D2C in every category. You see, every category that's deep enough, let's say electronics or apparel, it's deep enough online. And they, at best, would be about 30%, I think, of the overall category size. FMCG, which is the largest category pre-COVID and even still today, is the most underpenetrated on e-commerce. I think pre-COVID it was about 10%, abhi wo 15% hai. So you see, the largest category of the consumption is only 15% online, and then if you look at the grocery category, pre-COVID, 97% sat offline. And right now it's about 94, 95%, but depending on the category of products. If it's a more premium product, then maybe it's in the late single digits, but if it's more massy, more mass premium, it's still about 5-6% that's online. If a company or a brand is not looking at offline, you can never be at scale. This reality, we were kind of, we were very, very well prepared for this. But the hard challenge and the biggest problem with offline, which is also, the why it can drain you out of crores in a single month and then, not even get a purchase order. Because the shelf space is limited. It's the same story everywhere. If the brand pull is not significant, it's tragic to be in offline because, you will not get the throughput, you'll not get repeats, and you'll not get the customers to buy. So for us, it was, it was always on the cards, but without building a brand, going to offline is just burning money because, there is a lot of problems. There's credit as a problem. There's an entire trade network that you have to create. You have to do a lot of activations there. So although we were well aware and we did attempt, pre-COVID a lot of things, but there was no significant traction in offline. It's only in the last 1 year when we've reached a certain scale where we have almost 2 million customers in our people have bought from our product on our D2C. Shipping out almost last financial year we shipped out almost 3.5 million units. So abhi scale hai. Abhi wherever we place the stock, it moves. There is a very significant return on our advertising money. It's a cash cow actually for us, the offline business. So it's a double-edged sword. You should know when to play it without knowing when to go offline and what will be the best response mechanism for it. It's definitely going to burn a hole in your pocket for any brand. So simply we were wanting to do it, but the right time was only when the brand got enough significant pull and enough kind of traction in the market.
Nice. I'm sure there are hundreds and thousands of learnings from that journey that, of course, can't all be encapsulated here. But can each of you tell us 2 or 3 interesting growth levers that you pulled on that really accelerated the brand's journey to where it is today? It could be a distribution lever, it could be a marketing lever, it could be, getting brand ambassador. It could be anything. But what are 2 or 3 things that have really driven that growth for you all?
I think it would sound very cliched, but there is no alternative to a good product. A good product with a slow marketing will always reach there. A bad product with an exceptional marketing will kill you faster than it could have, right? So we have the highest revenue by product density, which is an index you can check the brand on, at least in our category. कि अगर 500 करोड़ का धंधा बनाना है तो 500 प्रोडक्ट लगेंगे, 50 प्रोडक्ट लगेंगे. That kind of tells you the density. So one, very high focus product. Second, I think as my partner puts it right, we are not Unilever. So we don't have to touch everyone once. Can you spend the same amount and touch 3 people thrice? Which essentially means in his or her head, you're creating the brand, right? So marketing optimization was something, or making it efficient was one of the things I think she and her team always pressed on. And the an analogy bhi bahut simple hai. If I'm seeing the brand all across my media, even if I don't know whether Alia promotes it or not, it's big in my head, right? And that's how digital box you out. And third is that all the channels have very, very different dynamics. So Facebook is a different, and I have no idea how these things run. Udbhav is the man who kind of runs everything. But Facebook would be different, Google would be different, and Nykaa would be different, and Amazon would be different. And offline is very different. So I cannot have an online DNA in offline, neither vice versa. And in online as well, I need to have different. So understanding the channel dynamics played a significant role in how D2C got scaled up when clubbed with obviously a great product and an efficient way to reach you 3 times rather than 3 of you reaching once. I think broadly these 3 areas.
Got it.
Growth levers, I think, as Tarun mentioned, a great product, a significantly differentiated product, a fundamentally differentiated product. That is the start, at least for us. The entire branding, we had a very authoritative approach. We went and said, hey, here's what you're drinking is not the best for you. We went, so I think the first thing would be a very dominating, authoritative, hipster, cutting edge approach to marketing. We went in and, we put it out and we hammered that, and this is in the beginning, right? So, and a lot of it was organically done. Most of it was organically done. In fact, we started doing ads only after the first year of the business. So that's one, a great cutting edge product bundled with very on point marketing. The second is from marketing point of view, we were never trying to do 10 things. We said Instagram, go on Instagram, go heavy on Instagram. We did not have the product on Amazon for the first year. If you want Rage Coffee, you will not get it for free. You will not get it somewhere, on a discounting platform. You will get it only on ragecoffee.com, and you will hear about Rage Coffee on Instagram. And you will tell people about it, and we incentivize, we build feedback loops where everybody was telling at least 2 or 3 people about, the product. That's the first year. So that's the thing. The third is when I think there were so many things, but from a distribution standpoint, when COVID hit, we said we are not going to take a, what approach we are going to take is more aggressive than compared to our peers. So we doubled down on distribution. When everybody was not thinking offline, we started doing offline. So we built the entire trade network. Today we have about 4 CFAs, about 15 super stockists, 120 distributors. So we're currently doing about at least 1 distributor every 2 days. minimum billings of 25,000, no credit, only cash and carry business. We built this blueprint during COVID, in the peak of COVID, in fact. So I think that approach changed everything for us because it was impossible for us to grow in our category without cracking omni-channel, without cracking offline, and then also kind of having that, So I think these 3-4 things would be.
Got it. But I love that there was so much emphasis on the product and how, the brand or the marketing is so baked into the product itself. Even with Bombay Shaving Company, the first, I think, 8 months or so, you could only buy the complete shaving experience. You couldn't buy a single product from us. It had to be the 6-part kit because if you wanted a satasat shave, you go to Gillette, but if you want to enjoy your shave, you come to us. And so that kind of anchored, I think, the brand's identity. And then, so great to hear, the laser focus on product over here. But, product alone will not sell. And of course, marketing is needed. We have a lot of ad tech agencies, media agencies, and wanted to shed light on the marketing side of things a little more. The early days of D2C are largely performance marketing, by kitna dala, kitna mila. But as you scale beyond a point, branding campaigns become important. Have you all, how much have you all explored with, what's your journey been like on that front? Was it just performance marketing initially? Now, of course, you have brand ambassadors and you're doing all sorts of interesting campaigns. Would love to know how that journey has been.
I think initially, though, it was catching up to the next ARR number to raise money, right? So I think it was always a performance kind of a game, be it on Amazon or Facebook or Google. But I think from day one, we have kind of emphasized on keeping the core of MCaffeine strong by way of social media, communication, having captivity on what we are building as product and marketing. So a lot of time people came back to us and said when we were about 80 to 100 odd crores कि तुम लोगों ने ब्रांड पे बहुत इन्वेस्ट किया है, क्या ROI देखते हो? And we had spent literally zero. But I think we kept the ethos very, very strong and core to the brand. Last year, I think we did one campaign with Shruti Hassan and Vikrant Massey. There were about 3 people. That was our first actual brand campaign. जहाँ पर हमें कह रहे थे इतना डाला कितना आया नहीं पूछना है. Right? It was more like an awareness campaign. We learned I learned something called view through rate, which tells you the efficacy of the campaign without telling you that ROI आएगा या नहीं आएगा. Right? So that was the first campaign we did, but I think it is very important not to spend a lot of money on brand awareness, but not to dilute it further as well, because performance के नाम पे discount is a drug, right? You अभी buy one get one चला दिया, अभी buy two get two चलवा देते हैं, buy four. You'll have to do at some point of time, but discount not treated as a drug was something was ingrained in performance, and I think these guys were very sure that it's a very slippery slope. So performance was done right. But outside performance, there was a lot of effort which went on protecting the brand from getting diluted. And at some point of time, when you collated and distilled it in a brand campaign, I think the VTRs were through the roof, the ROIs were through the roof of even the brand awareness campaigns. But we went on this journey very, very late. And we didn't realize that we were doing brand awareness, but in some shape and form, when we were protecting the brand, it was any which ways leading to certain level of brand awareness.
Got it.
यार बड़ा ही डिफरेंट व्यू है मेरा इस पे. आई थिंक brand is the only moat in the long run. There is no other moat. Everything can be copied. Every manufacturer in the country has seen Rage Coffee products. ये बना दो, वो same बना दो. नहीं होता. And if you want to really blitz scale like we did, we've grown 500% year on year since we started. Fourth of the business, 100 crores. So operational. It's only because of the brand. And it is a very difficult thing to achieve because जब हम 10 लाख खर्च रहे थे महीने का एडवर्टाइजिंग मतलब टोटल मार्केटिंग में, तो 5 लाख खर्च रहे थे ब्रांड पे और 10 करोड़ खर्च रहे हैं तो भी खर्च रहे हैं ब्रांड पे. Virat Kohli, getting him, it was, you should really look at it. A lot of people in the board में हमारे मना कर दिया था. Said no, this is the right thing to do because somebody who has almost 30% of market share in the category they are not looking at that. And the piece here is very strong. The Gen Z and millennials are driving consumption. They need people who can talk their language, and and if you are not doing that, be it through Instagram, be it through any channel that you as a brand you understand. आजकल मैं तो देख रहा हूँ Discord पे भी brands बन रहे हैं. So for me, I think of all what we spend at least 35% every month on branding campaigns. There's not even one YouTuber we have not partnered with in the last 2 years. I think apart from Tanchlani and Bhuvan, we have covered everybody. And at the rates which we have gotten them, I mean, kudos to the team, the delivery. हमने कभी भी उन campaigns को pure branding भी नहीं देखा, pure performance भी नहीं देखा. We were happy if you were getting a 0.8x. We were okay if you were getting a 0.5x. But the conversations that generated through those campaigns that we did was phenomenal. There is no comparison on that. आज अगर बंद भी हो जाए ना, performance हमारा, तो our repeats will continue to happen because of the brand pull.
Got it. Have you all explored programmatic, or maybe it's not the right question. He's already looking at Vaishali. Okay, forget that. Any specific pain points? Again, we have a lot of ad tech companies, media companies, a lot of creative people in the room. Any specific pain points from a brand building or marketing or media perspective? And Kavya, I think anyways asked this question to everyone who's up on stage, so I'll do that for you. That these people can help you solve for based on your current scale.
Let me come back with it, because I literally don't see to it. That I think Udbhav will be able to help me, but we will definitely reach out to you. I think broadly we are at 5 million users per month, right? Can we take it to 10 million users? Can be the first start of the ask.
It's great that you all have thrown out so many specific numbers. I hope whoever's taking notes knows what to pitch.
नहीं यार, we have, I'm a marketing geek, tech marketing geek. So मेरे को तो I want to be the first one to implement a new technology. We started playing with crypto 2 years back. We started doing our NFT giveaways and having Rage Coffee NFTs almost a year back. We're building a store in the metaverse. We've already started distributing freebies for that. So our pain point is, the biggest pain point is right now is how to know the customer better. The dependency on Facebook, Amazon, Google, these platforms have really inhibited us from knowing who is the true customer, because these platforms keep on evolving so fast, and with iOS 14 and privacy changes and everything, what's happening is that our customer is buying from a hyperlocal app, is buying from a Kirana store, and then also coming to the D2C, and then buying from Amazon. How do we know who this customer is, and can we then truly implement marketing campaigns for this customer and reach out to this customer outside of these platforms? That's the goal right now. Maybe that happens today, maybe that happens in a couple of years, but that's where I see the future of advertising also.
Same for us.
Very clear brief. Thank you. I think we just have 2 minutes on the clock, so would open it up for any questions that you all might have. The first one to ask a question gets a Rage Coffee hamper. Maybe.
We have a question here, Ronak.
Hello, hi. So this question is either for Bharat or for Tarun or for Ronak. So while building a brand, what do you think is more important? Getting a very good quality or a very famous brand ambassador, or getting a right storyline which gets embedded into the customer, or a combination of both? What is your thought over there?
I think brand finally will be like a person. So he or she will, or it will have a personality which will be displayed and a purpose which will be delivered. So if we can treat brand as a human and build that story, then I think that's the first step. We have a framework called 4 E's. If you're building a millennial brand, you need to have a highest amount of efficacy in the product. You can't make a bad product. It will kill you faster. But building that high efficacy product, you need to have incredibly high ethos. You just can't take shortcuts while making your shampoo with silicone. It can be a great product, but bad on ethos. Third, you need to have experience in the product slash brand because you're selling to millennials. They are not up for commodities. They want an experience. This is a no saving economy, Janta. They value experiences. You can build it with gifting. Bombay Shaving Company has done a kick-ass job in gifting, right? We also try to catch up there. But it can be embedded in fragrance, texture, everything. Experience बनाना है और वो product में भी नहीं आपके marketing communication में भी वही reflect होना चाहिए. And the fourth is emotion. At the end of the day, we are not a P&L and a balance sheet kind of a game. We are an emotional currency game. So if we can build an emotional sense in the consumer's mind, it is invisible and very difficult for somebody to topple you out after that. So we believe brand में ये दो starting point लगते हैं, हमें लगे थे. And as you move further, if you can treat your brand as a human, not something, I mean, जब आप अपना बच्चा बड़ा करोगे तो किसके साथ खेल रहा है, किसके साथ पढ़ रहा है, किस स्कूल में जा रहा है, किस स्कूल में जा रही है, everything, right? So that mindset helps you protect the brand further and not dilute it. And उसके बाद बन जाता है, उसके बाद people get the right picture of the brand, at least in our.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, brand, brand ambassador is one of the 1,000 things you can do to build the brand. It has to start with the core ethos, the core story, the core experience you want to give. And if a brand ambassador is the right way to anchor that story, then go for it. But that's just one of the ways.
Sure. Thank you.
All right, we'll take that as the last question.
It's a little futuristic question from both Bharat and Tarun. So in what year you're thinking the 6 to 7% sale is on metaverse?
Depends on, I think it depends on the adoption, but it will definitely happen. 2025 है कि 2024 है कि 26 है, I don't know. I'm not a marketing pandit. Can't say. But I think the brands that do that faster than their peers will have non-linear gains definitely in that space.
Awesome. I think we need to call it a close. So thank you again so much, Tarun, Bharat. Been a pleasure chatting with you. Thanks for being so specific with your responses. And thank you all for being a great audience.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Can we have you all come together for a group photograph? And can we please have the loudest amount of applause over here? Looks like my mind is exfoliated with a lot of insights. I thought this was like a master class as well. Thoroughly enjoyed the session.